Hey everyone, my name is Chris. Right now I am in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and today, if you are someone where you want to, get out of the rat race, you think Singapore is too expensive, your 5-year journey, your retirement plan includes you relocating to somewhere that's more slow pace, chill, and you can live something comfortably at a fraction of the cost of Singapore, this is the episode that you want to watch. So today I have a guest with me, Jeremy, and I'll let Jeremy introduce himself.
Good morning from Phnom Penh. My name is Jeremy. I'm Singaporean residing in Phnom Penh City, Cambodia for 10 years. So welcome to this beautiful country that adopted me 10 years ago in 2014.
What were you doing in Singapore before you came to Cambodia?
I was doing real estate, of course, much earlier after the national service. I'm doing IT. So basically for 15 years, then I embark on the journey of a real estate journey at the age 38 to 40. I forgot the time frame. Then this is where I am now. Yeah, Cambodia.
You were doing property, you
Yeah.
were in the real estate industry
Correct.
in Singapore.
Yes.
So what made you move to Phnom Penh?
Back then, my colleagues asked me to come to this kingdom of opportunities, I would call it. And I a bit skeptic, of course, prior to that, because Cambodia was under-marketed for a long time. So I took a step of faith and bring myself to this country. And I find it, wow, it's like bring back a time machine to Singapore, Malaysia, even China, 1960s, 70s, and 80s.
You were here to also market properties
Market properties
to overseas clients.
to overseas clients and as well as local clients as well. Yeah.
After you have came to Cambodia, right? How do you find the cost of living here? Let's talk about the cost first before we talk about anything else. Is it more expensive? Is it cheaper?
On the whole itself, it's pretty affordable. Depends on what you eat also. If you just eat normal food like Cambodian food, it's like below $2, US dollar like per meal kind of thing. But of course, if you want to craving for bak chor mee or anything that's related to Singapore or Malaysia, authentic food, of course the price will be much higher because all the import tax is pretty high in a way. Yeah.
Then the Western food will be even higher.
It depends because Western food they have fusion food here. So basically, the fine dining is much more comparable to Singapore. It's much more, I would say, affordable. Yeah, in the pricing wise and the ambiance itself.
When you talk about Cambodian food, a lot of people don't know what is Cambodian food. But actually, when I was here a few times, I think there's a few local delicacies that's quite interesting, like fish amok.
Fish
is
amok,
really nice,
yes.
which is like a otah but in a paste format that goes
Yeah,
with rice.
correct.
And there's also Khmer curry, but it's very different from the usual curries we have.
Yep.
And they also have a lot of, actually there are also very low cost options, like there are also like cai peng options. You go to the store, you choose
so-called
what you
economic
want,
rice, yes.
and it's not very expensive.
Yes, correct.
How about housing options in?
Okay.
Because we're staying at a very nice condominium here lah.
Yep.
So obviously we're doing Airbnb.
Yep.
We'll talk about the business side of things in a different episode
Alright.
later. But right now, maybe just share about like what are the different options when people want to live here? What are the accommodation choices?
There are a couple of options. First and foremost, as a foreigner, because we're used to, like in Singapore, we're used to staying in a condominium or high rise like HDB, public housing kind of thing. So, condominium is like a no-brainer because all the accessories, all the facilities are there. Gym, swimming pool, some even have clubhouse or below they have convenience store. So as this point we are staying, just a stone throw away to Aeon Mall. There are many things that you can purchase from the store itself and buy some little food and then cook. So this is like a convenience kind of thing. Yeah, of course they have Khmer houses, which is like 2-story shop house. They call it shop house or townhouse. So basically, rental can go probably around $200 to $300 or even more, depends on the location as well.
For the Khmer,
Khmer like shop house itself.
okay.
Yeah.
So, and you get 2 floors, is it?
2 stories, yes.
Okay, but that will be
A bit
a
outskirts.
bit more traditional. Also.
traditional, and of course, sometimes you can, I mean, not used to this kind of houses. They could be have some mosquitoes or some little bugs flying around. Yeah, correct.
Okay. And then for a condo like this, we're staying in a two-bedder, right? So how much does rental looks like for a condominium like this?
Okay, if it's talking about long term, minimally at this juncture is about 1,000 per month. We are thinking about 1,500 when the economy recovers. Yeah.
So that's for accommodations.
Yeah.
Of course, there's also other options. We talk about the traditional communal houses. We've talked about regular condo, which is actually not very different from Singapore.
Yeah.
But of course, for condo, you have to pay. The price that you mentioned doesn't include electricity and water, right?
Yes.
And also doesn't cover internet.
Correct.
So those are separate costs.
Correct.
But in terms of from a Singaporean aspect, a condo here is actually not too different from a condo in Singapore. The usual amenities are all there.
Yes.
Swimming pool, gym, and then like what you mentioned, like clubhouse and stuff for some. And obviously there are also other accommodation options, like if you want a actual modern townhouse or you want a landed property, those are also available.
Correct.
But we won't talk about it for now, but there are also other options like
Yes.
So okay, let's talk about transportation.
Yeah.
There's no MRT here.
No public transport.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people get around on Grab and
Tuk-tuks.
tuk-tuks, right?
Okay, we call it tuk-tuks, and also, of course, they have motor dupes. Motor dupes, that means like there's a motorcycle rider. So sometimes they will station outside the premises, like a mall or a condominium. So you see him, then he'll wave to you. So you say, oh, just hop on to that. Then you go to big location, then you give him some little money. It's like a pillar rider behind. Yeah, this is another form of transport. Of course, there's a taxi as well. Yeah.
Okay, so car,
Tuk-tuks,
and
we call it motor dupes.
Motor dupes.
Yeah.
And I think for people who have been to Thailand, it will be quite similar.
Yeah,
Cars, tuk-tuk, and the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And also Indonesia, I think it's also quite
correct.
similar. And price is not very expensive. I remember last time when I was here, getting around Phnom Penh City, on a tuk-tuk is always around $1
Yeah,
plus minus.
plus minus, yes.
But I think inflation may have moved it up a little bit.
No, depends on the
Like within 2 kilometers.
2 kilometers, about $1 plus minus to $1.50. Yeah.
Okay, and the good thing is if I use the Grab app and I link it to a Singapore, like my local
Debit
credit
card or credit card anytime.
Yeah, like my trust card, then you just directly convert into
The US dollar itself.
Correct, the Sing dollars.
Pretty convenient.
And yeah, so I noticed nobody really walks in Cambodia.
Yeah, because of the weather, the climate is very hot. Okay, the hottest weather during January to March itself, or even April, before the Georgetown or the Khmer New Year, for this year it reaches 40 degrees. It's like you out for about 5 minutes, your whole body sweat already. So of course, no one's want to walk in this kind of weather. A slow walk, 5 minutes also, they feel hot.
How about healthcare? I'm super curious because when I did research, right, the life expectancy in Cambodia is around 70.8 years.
Yes.
Compared to Singapore, which is around 83, 84,
Oh,
thereabout.
estimated.
With that, normally it does means that the healthcare facilities, amenities may not be as good, which that's why the life expectancy may not be that high. But that's based on statistics and just assumptions, right?
Yes.
In the real world, what is it like in
Okay, basically, Cambodia is considered a third world country, and to most of them, I will not say the top tier, to most of the Cambodians, the basic needs are not met yet. So health is actually not in the top of the mind. Yeah.
So for foreigner like yourself, right? How will if you're sick today, what are the options that you have?
Okay, basically,
Let's say like the more easy stuff like your fever, your flu.
Yeah.
How do you take care of it?
Okay. Nowadays, it's pretty straightforward. There are a lot of pharmacies around. I will self-heal myself first.
Something that is a bit more serious that requires maybe hospitalization, or even let's say surgery. Okay. Will you actually do it in Cambodia?
For me, okay,
As
yeah,
a foreigner, lah, from a foreigner perspective.
okay. From foreign aspect, to me is yes and no. Depends on the budget itself. For me, if of course if I can afford, why not? I go back to my own country, Singapore, to do like operation. In Cambodia, I believe the operation hospital is getting more and more advanced as comparable to about 10 or 5 to 10 years ago.
With that, the other curious thing I'm thinking about is also like insurance. Like, do you actually buy insurance in Cambodia to insure like your house and everything,
Yeah.
and also health?
Health, I bought it in Singapore.
Okay.
So at least touch wood, something happen, I can be able to be treated like either in recognizable hospitals, or if my case is more serious, I fly back to Singapore to be treated. Yeah.
Okay, so you still continue to pay for like your shield plan
Yeah, shield
and all
plan
that
or
stuff,
whatever,
right?
yes.
How about let's talk a bit about lifestyle, right? For most of you've been around, you do have a social circle of friends, also with foreign like expats and stuff.
Yeah.
What's a typical day like for yourself or for like an expat?
Okay. In the morning, I'll just like wake up. I try to do some workout now. Yeah, because okay. Then
You also stay in a condo, right?
yeah, I stay at condo.
Okay.
Of course, they have amenities and facilities as well. I was just like having breakfast with some friends or alone or in some cafeterias or restaurants itself. So, and secondly is meet up already, talk about business opportunities and how to link business, how to reconnect that thing, the final jigsaw puzzle, so that to bring Cambodia to the next level. Because as I always said, Cambodia is also always undermarketed. So we need to bring it to the next level.
What do you think about the culture here?
As a Singaporean born, natural born in Singapore, of course, Singapore is too fast paced. I believe a lot of my peers who are still staying there, they also find that. So when it comes to Cambodia, of course, culture shock and also language issue when I first came here 10 years ago. Uh, Secondly is we need to be highly adaptable to wherever we go, uh, be it in Cambodia or in any third world country for that matter. Uh, because there's always this stigma that we apply what we learn from our own country of birth or origin to the new place, but it doesn't gel like this. Because sometimes it's like their pace is 2 or 3 steps slower. If you run, they cannot keep up the pace. I mean, your peers or the Cambodians will not keep up the pace. So you need to
So
slow
what I'm
pace.
hearing is
Yeah.
The pace of things getting done here could be slower.
Yes.
And when you say adapting, it means we probably have to be a bit more patient.
Yeah, of course. This train our patience, especially even driving as well as a normal thing from A to B. You cannot be assuming that you have the right of way or the motorcycles or the tuk-tuks will give way to you. They will just cut your lane. So okay, yeah, just let them go first and just okay.
Okay. When you came here the first time around, you mentioned before to me when we had our coffee chat, right? You came here with a few of your colleagues and the purpose was really for work. But some of them has really gone back to Singapore.
Yes.
And with that, right, how do you actually, how easy is it to actually build like, to meet people, to build a community and a social life in Cambodia?
Good question. Okay. Especially that time, like 5, 6 years ago, or even like longer than that, most of them would add me in Facebook or because I changed my location. The place where I stay becomes Phnom Penh City or Cambodia. Quite a fair bit will add me into that Facebook.
Local Cambodian.
Yes, local Cambodians. So instinctively, I would ask if you add me, that means you want to get to know me, right? So I would say hi. Hi,
Okay.
nice to meet you.
And that's how the
yeah, conversation. So this is how I kickstart that thing. Yes.
Okay. And how about offline? Like, is it easy to meet people like
It's
in the bar or
it's
something?
pretty straightforward. They are friendly as well. I used to stay in a boutique hotel when I first came here, a couple of times before I say yes to here. Some of the boutique hotels, the owners, I know them already. Just
Okay.
within a span of 2 or 3 meetups. So you say, hello, I'm here again. They say, hi, where are you from? It's very easy to meet up with them.
And language is not a problem because
Yeah.
English is okay.
English, okay. And of course, the older generations not able to speak fluent English, basic.
Maybe it's also good to share with the audience, right? Realistically, the thing with Cambodia, why it's a bit more backwards compared to a lot of ASEAN countries, I think it's also because of the history, right?
Yes.
They went through a civil war, and because of that, a lot of people died, unfortunately. So people who come here, the two main attractions that talk about history will be the S21 and the Killing Fields,
Yes.
right? But also because of this civil war, what is actually quite okay, a consequence of that is that actually in Cambodia the median age is actually a lot lower.
Yes.
It's actually 26 according to statistics, where Singapore is 35.
Yep.
So actually the population here generally is just younger.
Yes.
And also because of that, English is not a problem because of schools and all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about expats who actually, let's say they want to stay here, right? Visa options are there. Is it difficult to get visas?
For Singaporeans, it's pretty straightforward. It's like you have to go through the visa section, the visa on arrival. You have to pay the $35 if you want to stay long term. But if you just like a normal tourist, just like
30 days,
30
no
days,
problem.
don't need to pay anything. Yeah.
Long term is how long?
Long term, you can be 3 months, 6 months to a year.
And different prices.
Different pricing.
And then you can renew.
Yes, renewable.
Okay, and it's a normal visa. You can renew easily, right?
Easily, and of course, you have to do something a bit to help Cambodia.
Right, but it's not the type of retirement visa like Malaysia where you need a certain amount of income, or like Thailand you need a certain amount of income for digital nomads. Then that's correct. This one is not. It's just a regular visa.
Yes.
That you just need to pay the fees to get the visa, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people who are considering to come here, move here, or check out Cambodia?
Actually, Singaporean, when we want to come to a third country, rule of thumb is be vigilant, like especially like a handphone for that matter. Snatch thieves are not only in Cambodia, anywhere in the world. It will happen. So some of my friends first day being snatched already, then said Cambodia not safe. So you cannot be wanting hit every boats kind of thing. So basically, you need to be vigilant and understand that it's not like Singapore. You can chop seats using a phone, a lanyard, a wallet kind of thing. When I go back, it's like, wow, okay.
But when we say vigilant, realistically, it's not like there's a syndicate here who's planning to steal things. It's just that if you don't take care of them, you don't keep them, people want to snatch them away. But it's also not as bad as some of the European countries where you will see, people will try to pickpocket you more than 5 times a day, kind of thing. Here it's just you just carry a backpack, cross-link your
just
sling
put it
bag.
like a koala bear or what,
and it's fine, right?
Yeah, that's fine. No one cares, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Sorry. And all the crimes in most cases are really petty crimes.
Thefts and everything. Because if you're not being targeted for something, of course they don't care. Yeah.
Which is unlikely for regular person.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Any other tips that you think we should know?
In terms of of course, as a Singaporean, I would highlight we need to stay humble and in humility when we go to other countries. Even like you go across to the Causeway, Johor Bahru, you cannot say, wow, so cheap.
You don't go say cheap.
Then people, Then of course you will be blasted in the social media again as well. So just like, okay, it's cheap in your heart, okay, good. Buy more, spend more, bring out the GDP of the country, everyone's happy. Yeah, just keep to yourself and just like bring to your friends offline kind of thing, not in social media. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay, and also when we talk about it realistically, Singaporeans being in Cambodia, when you hold a Singaporean passport, there's a certain brand that comes with it, a certain prestige.
Yes.
When it comes to people first impressions.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we talk about running businesses in Cambodia in a
Right.
separate episode. After watching this and you're thinking about maybe do you want to start a business here, there will be a separate video where we discuss further on this. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye bye.